Today we're diving deep into something that might shake up your entire world. But trust me, it's worth it. We're talking about those tough decisions that nobody wants to make, but everyone needs to consider. You know that feeling when you're around certain people and your energy just drains, when you feel like you're walking on eggshells? Yeah, that's exactly what we're addressing today, and I don't care if it's your childhood friend or your closest relative. Sometimes letting go is the most stoic and wise decision you can make. In this video, I'm going to show you 9 crystal clear signs that it's time to cut ties with toxic people in your life. We'll explore each sign in detail, backed by Stoic philosophy and real-world applications. By the end of this video, you'll have the clarity and courage to make those tough decisions that will transform your life. Let's go. Sign 1. They consistently violate your boundaries. The fundamental principle of personal boundaries comes directly from the Stoic concept of what is and isn't within our control. The ancient Stoics taught us that while we can't control others' actions, we absolutely can control our response to them. When someone repeatedly crosses your boundaries, they're not just disrespecting your limits, they're actively undermining your personal sovereignty. Think about it. Every time you say no and they push anyway, they're essentially saying their desires are more important than your well-being. In the Stoic framework, this type of behavior creates an imbalance in your life. It disrupts your ability to maintain emotional equilibrium and practice self-governance, 2 crucial elements of Stoic philosophy. The most telling aspect isn't the occasional slip-up. We're all human, after all. It's the pattern of consistent boundary violations that signals a deeper issue. They might show up unannounced despite your clear requests for advance notice. Share your personal information without permission or make decisions that affect you without your input. These violations often start small, like a subtle erosion of your personal space or time. Maybe they're constantly calling during your work hours despite knowing your schedule, or they're sharing details about your life on social media after you've explicitly asked them not to. The impact of these boundary violations extends far beyond the immediate moment. They create a ripple effect that disturbs your peace of mind, affects your other relationships, and compromises your ability to maintain healthy standards in other areas of your life. Marcus Aurelius wrote about the importance of maintaining our internal fortress, our mental and emotional boundaries. When someone consistently breaches these walls, they're not just disrespecting you, they're threatening your ability to maintain that crucial inner citadel. Remember, establishing and maintaining boundaries isn't selfish. It's essential for your well-being and personal growth. It's about protecting your energy, time, and emotional space, resources that the Stoics considered precious and finite. The most problematic aspect is that boundary violators often disguise their actions as care or concern. "I'm just trying to help," or "we're family, we don't need boundaries," are common justifications that mask controlling or disrespectful behavior. The solution: start documenting these violations, not to build resentment, but to establish clarity about the pattern. This objective view will help you make decisions based on facts rather than emotions, a very Stoic approach to problem solving. Sign 2. They drain your energy and resources. Energy vampires, that's what modern self-help gurus call them, but the Stoics recognized this phenomenon thousands of years ago. These are the people who constantly take but rarely, if ever, give back in any meaningful way. When you finish interacting with them, you feel exhausted, depleted, and sometimes even physically drained. It's not just about being tired, it's about feeling like your very life force has been sucked away. The Stoics would view this as a serious threat to your ability to maintain virtue and inner peace. This drainage isn't always obvious or dramatic. Sometimes it's subtle. The friend who always needs a favor but disappears when you need help, or the family member who constantly requires emotional support but offers none in return. The Stoic philosopher Seneca warned about the importance of guarding our time and energy, comparing them to non-renewable resources. When someone consistently depletes these resources without contributing to your well-being, they're essentially stealing from your life's limited inventory. The problem often manifests in multiple ways: financial demands, emotional labor, constant crisis management, or even just the mental energy required to manage their drama and complications. They might always need money, advice, or support, but never seem to get their life together. These relationships create an unsustainable imbalance. While Stoicism teaches us to be generous and helpful, it also emphasizes the importance of wisdom in our choices. Continuing to pour resources into a bottomless pit isn't wise. It's self-destructive. Often, these people have mastered the art of making their problems feel like your responsibility. They might guilt-trip you or manipulate situations so that you feel obligated to help, even when it's detrimental to your own well-being. The Stoic response isn't to immediately cut them off, but to first establish clear boundaries about what you're willing and able to give. If they respect these boundaries, great. If not, you have your answer about the relationship's viability. What makes this particularly challenging is that many energy-draining relationships are with people we genuinely care about. But caring for someone doesn't mean sacrificing your own well-being indefinitely. Remember Epictetus's teaching. We must learn to distinguish between what is our responsibility and what isn't. Someone else's constant crises and needs are not your responsibility to solve. Sign 3. They undermine your growth and progress. The Stoics placed immense value on personal development and the pursuit of virtue. When someone consistently undermines your efforts to grow and improve, they're not just being unsupportive, they're actively hindering your life's purpose. This undermining can take many forms: subtle discouragements, outright criticism of your goals, or even attempts to sabotage your progress. They might make dismissive comments about your ambitions or try to pull you back into old, unhealthy patterns. The most insidious aspect of this behavior is how it's often masked as concern or realism. "I'm just trying to protect you from disappointment," or "I'm being realistic," are common phrases used to justify their negative influence on your growth. This behavior often intensifies as you make more positive changes in your life. As you start to grow, they might feel threatened by your progress and unconsciously or consciously try to pull you back to their level. The Stoic philosophers emphasized the importance of surrounding ourselves with people who elevate us. Epictetus particularly warned about the influence of those who could corrupt our character or hinder our progress toward virtue. When someone consistently throws obstacles in your path to improvement, whether it's in your career, health, relationships, or personal development, they're essentially asking you to choose between your growth and their comfort. The impact of these growth-undermining relationships extends far beyond the immediate moment. They can create self-doubt, delay your progress, and even cause you to abandon worthy goals altogether. What makes this particularly challenging is that these people often know exactly which buttons to push to make you question yourself. They might bring up past failures, play on your insecurities, or use their intimate knowledge of your weaknesses against you. The Stoic approach would be to first examine whether their criticism has any merit. After all, true friends sometimes need to give us hard truths. However, if their behavior consistently serves to hold you back rather than help you grow, it's time to reevaluate the relationship. Remember Marcus Aurelius's words about the importance of staying true to your path, regardless of others' opinions or attempts to deter you. Sign 4. They bring constant drama and chaos. In Stoic philosophy, tranquility of mind is considered one of the highest goods. People who constantly surround themselves and others with drama and chaos directly oppose this fundamental principle of inner peace. These individuals seem to attract or create problems wherever they go. Every week there's a new crisis, a new conflict, or a new emergency that requires your immediate attention and emotional investment. The Stoics taught that true peace comes from accepting what we cannot change and focusing on what we can control. However, drama-prone individuals often refuse to accept responsibility for their situations, instead pulling others into their perpetual state of chaos. What's particularly exhausting about these relationships is the constant state of alertness they require. You never know when the next crisis will erupt, or when you'll be called upon to help manage another complicated situation. These people often have a victim mentality that conflicts directly with Stoic principles of personal responsibility. They see themselves as perpetually wronged by others, by circumstances, or by life itself, refusing to acknowledge their role in creating their situations. The most problematic aspect is how this constant drama affects your own mental state and ability to maintain equilibrium. Even when you're not directly involved in their latest crisis, the anticipation of the next problem can create underlying anxiety. These relationships often create a cycle of enabling. The more you help manage their crises, the more they rely on you to solve their problems, and the less they develop their own problem-solving abilities. From a Stoic perspective, constantly engaging with unnecessary drama is a form of voluntary suffering that serves no purpose in personal growth or the development of virtue. The impact extends beyond just mental energy. These relationships often require significant time investment, emotional labor, and sometimes even financial resources to help manage the latest crisis. The solution isn't necessarily immediate separation, but rather a careful evaluation of your role in enabling this behavior and a strategic plan to establish healthier boundaries. Sign 5. They show no respect for your time or commitments. Time, according to Seneca, is our most precious and non-renewable resource. When someone consistently shows no respect for your time, they're essentially showing no respect for your life itself. These people often make demands on your schedule without consideration for your other commitments. They might regularly show up late, cancel at the last minute, or expect you to drop everything when they need something. The lack of respect for time often manifests in subtle ways, calling during work hours, extending visits well beyond agreed times, or making plans without consulting your schedule first. This behavior reveals a fundamental self-centeredness that goes against Stoic principles of mutual respect and consideration. They essentially view their time as more valuable than yours. What makes this particularly frustrating is how it can disrupt your ability to maintain discipline and routine, key elements in Stoic practice and personal development. These individuals often use emotional manipulation to justify their disrespect for your time. They might guilt-trip you for not being available or make you feel selfish for maintaining boundaries around your schedule. The impact of this behavior extends beyond just wasted time. It affects your ability to maintain commitments to others, follow through on personal goals, and maintain professional responsibilities. From a Stoic perspective, allowing someone to consistently disrespect your time is a form of self-harm, as it prevents you from using your limited time in pursuit of virtue and personal excellence. The most telling aspect is their reaction when confronted about this behavior. If they show no willingness to change or even acknowledge the problem, it's a clear sign that they fundamentally don't respect you. Remember that time management isn't just about efficiency. It's about living intentionally and using our limited time in alignment with our values and goals. Sign 6. They display toxic positivity or negativity. While Stoicism advocates for emotional resilience, it doesn't support the suppression or denial of natural emotions. People who exhibit toxic positivity or persistent negativity both miss this crucial understanding. Toxic positivity manifests as the insistence that you should just be happy or look on the bright side, while invalidating your legitimate feelings and concerns. This directly contradicts the Stoic practice of facing reality as it is. Conversely, persistent negativity goes against the Stoic principle of focusing on what we can control and accepting what we cannot. These individuals seem to find problems in every solution and darkness in every light. Both extremes can be equally damaging to your mental well-being. Toxic positivity denies you the right to process difficult emotions, while constant negativity can drain your motivation and optimism. These people often try to force their emotional perspective on others, whether it's through aggressive optimism or persistent doom and gloom attitudes. Neither approach allows for healthy emotional processing or growth. The impact of these behaviors can be particularly insidious because they often come wrapped in what appears to be concern for your well-being. "I just want you to be happy," or "I'm just being realistic," are common justifications. What makes this especially challenging is that these individuals often resist any attempt to bring balance to the conversation. They're committed to their extreme perspective and may become defensive when challenged. From a Stoic viewpoint, both approaches prevent the development of true wisdom, which requires us to see things as they are, neither better nor worse than reality. The most problematic aspect is how these attitudes can affect your own emotional regulation and decision-making abilities. Constant exposure to either extreme can skew your own perspective over time. The solution lies in recognizing that true emotional intelligence, as the Stoics taught, involves accepting the full range of human emotions while maintaining the wisdom to manage them effectively. Sign 7. They lack accountability. Accountability is a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy. When someone consistently refuses to take responsibility for their actions and their impact on others, they're displaying a fundamental character flaw. These individuals always have an excuse or someone else to blame. They might be masters at playing the victim or experts at deflecting responsibility onto others, circumstances, or bad luck. The problem becomes particularly evident in how they handle mistakes or conflicts. Instead of acknowledging their role and working towards solutions, they spend their energy defending their actions or finding scapegoats. This lack of accountability often extends to their commitments and promises. They might make grand promises, but consistently fail to follow through, always with a ready excuse for why it wasn't their fault. From a Stoic perspective, this behavior shows a fundamental misunderstanding of personal agency and responsibility. The Stoics taught that while we can't control external events, we are always responsible for our responses and actions. What makes this especially frustrating is how it affects joint projects or shared responsibilities. When someone refuses to acknowledge their part in problems, it becomes impossible to find real solutions or prevent similar issues in the future. The impact of this behavior extends beyond individual incidents. It creates a pattern of unreliability and erodes trust in the relationship. How can you depend on someone who never admits when they're wrong? These individuals often use sophisticated manipulation techniques to avoid accountability. They might gaslight, redirect blame, or use emotional manipulation to make others feel responsible for their actions. The most telling sign is their response to direct confrontation about their behavior. Someone who lacks accountability will often respond with defensiveness, counter-accusations, or by playing the victim. Remember that accepting responsibility for our actions is not just about admitting mistakes. It's about showing respect for others and demonstrating a commitment to personal growth. Sign 8. They gossip and betray confidences. The Stoics placed high value on integrity and trustworthiness. People who regularly engage in gossip and betray confidences show a fundamental lack of these crucial character traits. These individuals often present themselves as concerned friends or family members, sharing private information under the guise of just trying to help or keeping others informed. However, this behavior reveals a deeper character flaw. What makes this particularly dangerous is how it can damage your reputation and other relationships. If someone is willing to share others' secrets with you, they're likely sharing your private information with others as well. The impact of this behavior extends beyond just the breach of trust. It creates an environment of suspicion and anxiety, where you can never be sure what information about you is being shared with others. From a Stoic perspective, engaging in gossip and betraying confidences shows a lack of self-discipline and wisdom. It's a form of external validation seeking that goes against the principle of finding satisfaction in doing what is right. These people often justify their behavior by claiming they're just being honest or open, but there's a clear difference between honesty and indiscretion. True honesty doesn't require betraying others' trust. The most problematic aspect is how this behavior can poison entire social networks or family systems. Once someone is known for spreading private information, it affects everyone's ability to trust and communicate openly. It's particularly telling how these individuals handle information that could harm them if shared. Often they're very protective of their own secrets while freely sharing others' private matters. This behavior frequently comes with a need for control or power over others. By holding and sharing private information, they maintain a position of influence in social dynamics. The solution isn't just about keeping secrets from these people. It's about recognizing that their behavior indicates a fundamental lack of respect for others' privacy and dignity. Sign 9. They show no interest in your growth or success. The final sign, and perhaps one of the most significant, is when someone shows complete disinterest in your personal growth and success. This directly contradicts the Stoic principle of mutual support and encouragement in the pursuit of virtue. These individuals might appear supportive on the surface, but their actions, or lack thereof, reveal their true attitude. They might change the subject when you share good news, or show more interest in your failures than your successes. What makes this particularly painful is when it comes from family members or close friends, people who should naturally want to see you succeed and grow. Their indifference can be more hurtful than outright opposition. From a Stoic perspective, true friendship involves supporting each other's growth toward wisdom and virtue. When someone shows no interest in your development, they're failing at one of the most basic aspects of meaningful relationship. The impact of this behavior becomes especially evident during significant life changes or achievements. These people might minimize your accomplishments, show indifference to your goals, or even seem pleased when you face setbacks. These individuals often mask their lack of interest with superficial responses or quick dismissals. They might say, "That's nice," without engaging, or quickly redirect the conversation to themselves. The most telling aspect is their behavior when you need support or encouragement. True friends and family members should be interested in your journey and willing to offer genuine support when needed. This lack of interest often reveals itself in subtle ways. Not remembering important details about your life, showing no curiosity about your projects or goals, or being unavailable when you need support. From a practical standpoint, maintaining relationships with people who show no interest in your growth can hold you back. We naturally adapt to the expectations and energy of those around us. The Stoic solution isn't necessarily to cut ties immediately, but to recognize that true growth often requires surrounding yourself with people who support and encourage your development. And there you have it, beautiful people. 9 clear signs that it might be time to make some tough decisions about your relationships. Remember, this isn't about being harsh or unforgiving. It's about protecting your energy, maintaining your boundaries, and creating space for growth. The Stoics weren't about cutting people off impulsively. They taught us to be deliberate and wise in our decisions. So take some time to reflect on these signs, journal about them if you need to, and make decisions that align with your values and long-term well-being. If this video resonated with you, smash that like button and share it with someone who might need to hear this message. Don't forget to subscribe for more content about personal growth, practical philosophy, and living your best life. Drop a comment below sharing which of these signs resonated most with you. Until next time, stay strong, stay wise, and remember, Sometimes the most loving thing you can do for yourself is to let go. Peace out.